So I'm down here to harvest some leeks before it rains, and I just had a look at the thermometer. 3.4 degrees. So it is getting colder at night, and here my allotment's in a dip, so it gets colder than it does at my home. But the squash plants, the butternut plants, they look okay. They don't look dead, so I'm not going to harvest them quite yet. I want to try and leave the remainder of them for as long as I can. Yeah, they might not look totally happy, but it's not like all the leaves are frosted, so I will leave them for a little bit longer. Looking at this courgette plant, there's a few courgettes left here, but I don't know if they're going to come to anything, and the plant really looks like it just wants to die. So we'll see how much longer that lasts. Look at this poor volunteer tomato. It's really trying with the fruits, but no. I don't think that's going to produce anything edible before it's too cold. But we'll leave it, we'll see. I've had so much rain lately that most of my water butts are nearly full again. Well, that should help with next year, but we'll see if we have a dry spring. Looking at this pot and a bit of mess there, I think the foxes have been digging again. There's nothing planted in there harvest-wise, but they've obviously been digging to see what there is. Well, that's why most of my beds are covered in netting. It's not always for the bugs, it's to stop the foxes making a mess of everything. So yeah, good job they haven't ruined anything. So what I'm doing with these leeks is I'm just picking out the bigger ones for eating for meals, rather than just like taking a row at a time. I'm picking out the biggest ones to give the smaller ones more space, and that seems to be working so far. I have to push around the bottom with the trowel, and then I can pull up the leek without disturbing the others. The rain has beaten me. That's the 12 leeks I've pulled up, but now I've got to go home and get out the rain. So I've been going through the communal compost heap, and I noticed at the bottom, at the side, there was some nice stuff. So I've got a tub full of this. It's gorgeous. I'm going to sieve it to make sure there's nothing undesirable in it, but it's lovely. So I'm going to go turn that compost heap and see if there's any more nice soil in there. So this is where I got the soil from. Lovely looking. But there were potatoes in it, and then there were lots of these little bulbs. So it shows it does need sieving. So I haven't done what I planned today. Let me show you what I have. All of this I moved into this bay. This bay was 2/3 full. So I've moved and mixed the compost into there, and I've sieved about 3 wheelbarrow loads of the compost to get this lovely stuff. But my muscles are killing me, so I'm going home now. I'm tired, but I've got 1, 2, 3, I think it was 4 wheelbarrow loads sieved, and at least I have access to the bottom of that compost pile now. I think I'm going to risk leaving my butternuts for the next few nights because it will only get down to about 6 or 7 degrees, so I think they should just about survive, but we'll see. Bye for now. I've spent the last few hours potting up my strawberry runners, and this is the type, it's Tenera, and it's an early variety. So I started with 6 plants, I now have 64, and I've still got 2 other varieties of strawberries to pot up. Not sure how I'm going to use them all next year, but we'll see. And these are the pine berries I did the other day. They don't go pink, they just go very slightly pink and then they're ripe. So the birds don't think they're ripe and don't go for them. Slightly different taste to a strawberry, but still similar enough. So I've been sieving more of the main compost heap today. Even more of this lovely soil. To others it might look like it's just old stuff, it doesn't look very good. But if you sieve it, you can get out the big lumpy bits and then you get lovely soil for free. Well, at some point over the last few days it's got down to 1.2 here, but I don't think it's ruined the butternut that's still there, so that's okay. So I know it's got cold down here because the thermometer says it was 1.3, but you look at these butternut squash. Yes, the plant is complaining, but look, some of the leaves are still okay. It's just about hanging in there. And over on the other bed, next to these nasturtiums, these are also surviving. Those ones look a little worse for wear, but I think that's trailing over from this right hand bed. So there are still some butternut in there. So I will leave them a bit longer. I've just had a look at my Brussels sprouts, which last time didn't have any Brussels sprouts. And if we look closely here, a couple of the bottom ones have actually opened up. So, and they're starting to form further up. So I've got to keep a close eye on these and pick the lower ones before they blow. Nice. I don't think I've successfully grown Brussels sprouts before. So I've changed my mind. The carrots that I sowed in this first bed, they just didn't come up. So I'm going to plant the brassicas in that bed because they don't mind a little bit of shade. Here we go. Look at all these worms. And that's just from disturbing the soil from planting a couple of cabbages. So this bed has definitely improved with its soil. So these are the Savoy cabbages I've planted out. They're a bit sad. They've sat in their seed trays for too long, but I'm going to give them a chance. There's 22 there. Obviously 3 rows of 7, and then I just chucked this one in there. We'll see how they survive. Obviously I have to cover them, but hopefully they'll be happier now that they're planted out. So I've used the metal hoops that I took off of the broken net tunnels. So it'll be fairly low. I'm going to put that white cover over it, and once the cabbages are big enough, then I will actually net it like this one. but I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, that's them covered. Hopefully that keeps the wildlife off. What I'm going to do now is rake the sticks, which is like mulch on the top, off so that I can add some more soil to this bed. I try to be no dig, but this looks like it's some kind of, it's probably rats. So I'm going to lightly disturb these tunnels before I put in the garlic. So I've loosened the soil. I haven't dug it over, I just wiggled the fork a little bit. And now I'm going to put some compost on top. So I've got the garlic here. It's desperate to grow. The variety is Spring Violet. It's from Spain and I bought it from Costco. So now I'm going to plant it out. So what I was just doing was separating the cloves, picking out the large ones, and I'm only going to plant the best, biggest, large cloves. The smaller ones are just using cooking the next day or two. That way, hopefully I get nice big fat garlic to grow at the end of it. So I've netted that bed. It's not because the garlic can need it for protection from cold or anything. It's just to stop the birds pulling it up. Once the plants are anchored in well enough with the roots, I'll take the netting off. So I managed to get 5 rows of 11 in. I think that should do. The rest of the garlic I'll just eat at home rather than planting because it was already shop bought stuff. So I'm off home now. I've harvested some leeks for tea. I don't think the carrots are big enough yet. But yeah, better get home and do some cooking. Bye.